I think my messages are in my lyrics, what my words say. I mean, I came from poetry into music. I wrote first before I started singing the poems. So to me, it's about the words, it's about the feeling you get. I hope that people get it. Like I said, my themes are love, non-judgment, and joy.
I was sitting downstairs at my parents' house. I must have been 12 or 11 or so. And they had a big piano down there, an upright piano. And I remember just taking my hands and strumming the strings in the piano and putting the sustain pedal on. And just kind of basically spacing out and kind of going out in the cosmos or meditating or whatever. And right then I kind of knew music affected me aesthetically, spiritually, whatever.
To me, playing the flute and breathing, and that's when I'm like, my body relaxes, my cells just sort of calm down, and I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not, when I went through nursing school, I'm a nurse, I played music the whole time, and I would play until 2 a.m. and then get up at 5 to do a clinical. And it was such a nice release, because even though I had all these pressures and all this stuff, when I was actually playing, nothing else, I wasn't thinking about anything else. So it just sort of, everything lines up for me.
Now that you've asked me that question, as I think about it, the other time that music really touched me was when I was a small child, probably 8, 9 years old. My brother was in the seminary, and very occasionally we would get to go to the seminary and visit him. And there was this large cathedral of seminarians, and their voices would be in unison, chanting as monks. And there was some quality in that. There was a quality of spirit that went beyond the human voice, that just reached right into me and grabbed me at that moment. It was beyond singing.
when I write, what happens to me is I feel that I actually physically leave the planet when I close my eyes, or when I hear somebody else's music that really moves me. I just have a sensation of being in outer space and floating, and totally away from the planet, and being spiritually close and away from the planet.
I don't know, a religious background. I've been always connected to that world. I don't know how to really say it. I mean, my religious background was go to church on Sunday and sit there in a pew and don't giggle. And I can remember as a kid going, but why can't I giggle? Wouldn't God enjoy me laughing in his house? So I always kind of not quite fit into organized religion, yet I had a lot of spiritual things happen to me as a kid. I felt really different. I had a lot of visions, strange things that I think as a child I thought, boy, what is going on with me? But later I was okay with it, just who I am. So my religious background would be psychic occurrences.
Martial arts, Eastern philosophy, some Tibetan, mostly about really knowing yourself and not being afraid to open doors, not being afraid to face your fears, not being afraid to ask for guidance, just accepting, you know, that you're this human in this body, in this earth, and doing the best you can.
I think what I'm doing is wrapped up in spirituality. The music of Land of the Blind and what I bring to it through the didgeridoo, which connects back to the Aborigines, connects with spirituality. The didgeridoo has a quality of spirituality. It's based in their culture. It's used for healing.
Leaning like a broken tree. Why won't you ever lean on me? I need to be alone, I guess. As a little girl, I didn't want to face the dark. And then I looked it in the eye. And then I fell apart. Oh, I need to be alone, I guess. You draw the lines and the shapes, all fill in the colors. Since we made it in the dark, why don't we hang it in the lights? I need to. I need to be alone. Now I'm coming on strong. I need to, I want to, I need to. Now I'm coming on strong. I want to, I need to, I want to. 'Cause I was always coming on strong, always coming undone. Now I'm coming on strong. I love it when we talk, and I love it when we touch. But I really hate the differences. I guess I want to damn much, too damn much, too damn much, too damn much.
what you see on TV these days has so much money involved with it. You know, I'm just afraid that something we do on the local level won't match up to what's happening on TV because it's just the money thing. You know, I think the ideas people have are great, but in order to carry out those ideas, you have to have a certain amount of dough in order to create that. So I had some misgivings about that. But what the hell can you do?
Yeah, actually, that's a great question, because I went and saw a concert last night, and they were singing about gun control, and they had 3, 4, 5 cameras flashing images of newspapers and slain people and stuff, and I got to this point where I said, boy, I'm so tired of MTV. I'm so tired of images being flashed at us and our decisions made for our emotions and our intellect and our imagination for us. So I tend to be drawn towards mysterious images, and I hope that that's what we can do. Things that are more nebulous that people can decide rather than, you know, putting it all out real literal. I think I get really tired of that. I'm tired of all the images, I think. So yeah, that's a concern, although I'm excited. I think in visions, and I write in visions, so I'm excited to try to create and show that. But I hope, yeah. I just don't like real literal MTV. I mean, when I first saw music videos, I was in Europe with some friends of mine, and I'd never seen it. It was like, 6 years before MTV popped up. And they had some videos of Kate Bush and some other people, and I said, this is going to be an amazing new art form. It's going to be these beautiful little mini films that will take you somewhere with the music. And I was so disappointed to see what happened. Basically, they turned into commercials, I felt like. Love, I mean, that's like the ultimate pain and joy all over again and again, each time. You know, it's like this whole circle of totality, totally giving yourself to someone, finding out that you've now given all of you away. I mean, it's like this same circle that goes in the rest of my music too, I think, in the way that I look at the world is just love relationships to me as a microcosm. And yeah, they are very personal. It's very purging to me. Like you mentioned dream secrets, and that's really about a relationship cooling and that agony. You know, I'm basically screaming at that person, why are you keeping secrets? So yeah, it's an emotional purge for me to trance out and go there, but at the same time I know that that's completely universal. And a lot of people do the agony love songs where they, oh baby I love you, but not a lot of people get into how it really feels. In the middle of this dream, I was walking alone at night. Hands reached out, but they didn't feel right. Then it started to rain and my face got wet, so I looked down. Thought I saw your face in the cracks in the pavement. No. I'm just talking to myself. If I could touch you, I could show you that I know you and your dream secrets. Dream secrets. Dream your secrets, they don't lie. No, no, no. Dream secrets. Dream secrets. Dream your secrets in the night.
left the stairs were cool with your laughter. And I saw you leaning against the wall, and you looked alright. Then you ran your fingers through your hair and you said, if I'm the shadow, then you're the light. In the middle of this dream, I fell asleep and I couldn't wake up. And we were lying in the grass and our skin was on fire. And we were rolling down the hill, burning up the path. Roses are red, violets are blue. In the middle of your heart, there stands the truth. Oh, dream secrets. Dream your secrets, they don't lie. Dream secrets, don't let them fade away. Dream your secrets in the night. Oh, dream secrets. Dream your secrets, they don't lie. Dream secrets, don't let them fade away. Dream your secrets, close your eyes.
Yeah, that's got a very weird story behind it. I call it The Sirens of Sex City, and it was about my honey and I going to San Francisco. And first or second night we were there, we met these two women that were just, I mean, I was drawn and fascinated to them right away. They were just wound around each other like snakes, and they were so friendly to us. And they said, "What? Oh, why don't you come over to our house? Oh, you do art? Well, come over and see our artwork." And we were the country bumpkins from Portland. Okay. It's San Francisco. Let's go to someone's house. And their house was purple and pink. And it was the sex house. It was oozing. She had giant paintings of her and her lover and a man, and three of them lived there. And it was like the most incredible experience that happened to us because we were not in that mind space. It wasn't where we wanted to go. And it was just, basically we walked in there at 12, and at 6 o'clock, after like 6 hours of totally being hypnotized by these two people, I said, what am I doing here? Oh my God. And got out of there with just a little skin left. That's what the story was, like screaming to Michael, who was an archangel, to save me from these people, because it wasn't really even about sex, it was about power. It's so hard to explain. They basically came in their house and we were deprived of any water or food, and they just started talking to us about their sexuality, and the two of them and their other lover, and how they travel around the world and have these sex expos with their sex, you know, and they do live sex and talking. I can't even explain it, but they just kept rolling and rolling, and we were laying on their bed just listening, yes, yes, and we were totally, totally mesmerized. And they were trying to separate us. It was just an amazing experience, and it really wasn't like, oh, gee, come on in. Wow, we really like you guys as a couple. Do you want to do something? It was never, ever out front. It was all about, that's why I call it the sirens. It was like, come on in, and we'll crash you against our shore, and you won't even know it. There was a part of me that's like a fighter, like a spiritual soldier, and I wanted to go back and confront them. And my honey said, no, you're like totally sick by whatever they did to you, and you're not going back. But I wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to just like knock and say, what the hell were you doing? So I never got to, but I think I ended it by writing the song.
I look across the room and like a web, and I was suddenly spinning in a dark sea in the middle of their bed, tied to the hull of some ancient ship headed for a rocky shore, and their arms wrapped around me, a slow snake in a dream, and I was lashed in a fire between confusion and need, but fear reached right into my gut, and something slammed shut. Sirens of sexy day, calling me, calling me, calling me. Sirens of sexy day, calling say, lie with us, touch us, love us, fearless. Lie with us, touch us, stay with us, heal us. Lie with us, stay with us, know us and show us. Lie with us. And the door flew open and bang shut. Just a little magic, just a little symbol of the war between the heat and the heart and the rock. Michael, spread your wings out. Michael, cool my favorite brown. Michael, spread your wings out, 'cause I need you now. Michael, spread your wings out. Michael, cool my favorite brown. Michael, spread your wings out, 'cause I need you now. Lie with us, touch us, my angels. Feel us. Lie with us, touch us. Stay with us. Lie with us, stay with us. Lie down. Don't just lie with us now. Lie with us, touch us. Summer and sunset. Lie with us, touch us. Come and feel us. Lie with us, stay with us. Know us and show us. Come and
That we're on another continuum, that we've been here before, that we'll be here after, that we have one foot in this reality, and yet no one knows that everybody has another foot in their own different reality. I feel real sure that we're just basically these amazing beings, just these shining beings of light, and we get turned off or scuffled up or shine through, depending on our circumstances this time.
I've kind of wondered why the hell I'm doing this. Why do I have a need to write music and have other people listen to it? Which is kind of strange. Why am I not just satisfied with writing for just myself and that being it? Why do I need other people to hear it? And I guess I just want to share the emotions I feel that my music generates from me, and have other people feel the same emotion that I feel when I write. And it's kind of hard to explain.
I've been in bands throughout my life, and as a flute player, you know, it's not like it's exactly necessary for the music. I don't play bass, I don't play drums. So it is sort of an added element. I feel that it adds, you know, an ethereal quality. I like to think of the flute as another voice. I went to Land of the Blind and lost my passport.
Recently I was in Belize, and one of the things that struck me so strongly about the Belizean people and their culture and their music, their national slogan basically, and this is on their billboards, through their music and in their literature, is many races, one nation. And I was really taken by that. I've never seen a melting pot of so many different cultures and so many different peoples and so many different languages and music blend so beautifully together. They get along so well, and I think the rest of the world has a lot to learn from that. And I think sometimes that's part of our message too, is that the time is short. We need to learn that there are more commonalities between us rather than differences.
Well, they're amazingly dedicated. I mean, really, it's Gary and I's music and lyrics, and the people that have joined us have all just come forward. They've found us and just thrown themselves into it totally and given all their time, all their energy, all their money again and again because they really believe in it. They're just amazing. They're like a family, a strange extended family.
A man is placed upon the steps, and a baby cries. High above you, you hear the church bells start to ring. And as the heaven is on, the heaven as the body settles in. Somewhere you can hear a mother sing. Then it's one foot, then the other, as you step out on the road. Step out, how much pain, and then it's how long, and how far, and how many times, oh, before it's too sunset with such love and intensity. Why, it's almost as if you could only crack the code, you'd finally understand what this all means.